All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 13 of Just the Gi Top podcast. Very excited today. We have Arther Chandramohan on, Arther Transit Ascension. Not everybody may have heard of Arther. We wanted to have some people on in the Ontario BJJ scene. We're getting a wider audience, so we want to help promote our local people. And Arthur's a great competitor. Just quickly go through our panel, as always. From left to right, we have Ahmed Chirani.
Ahmed Shah.
We have Jordan
like
Short. And we have Rami Chirani.
Hey.
Arthur, first of all, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
One more thing before we get started. I just want to do a shout out to our sponsor, VHTS, veryhardtosubmit.com. He's got some awesome gis. Oh, shoot. Sorry, just had some feedback there. We're good.
Oh, yeah.
The 10-second delay.
I'll
yes. So VHTS, veryhardtosubmit.com. Go check them out. Gis, rash guards, T-shirts, patches. They got all sorts of really cool stuff. Ahmed and I will be competing in our VHTS gis tomorrow.
So nobody submit me tomorrow.
Yeah, please.
I have to live up
you
to
do,
the name.
do not submit
It won't
me.
count. It won't be real easy.
Okay.
Also, just to quickly butt in too, we're actually hoping to do a little giveaway with some of the gear that they have, but we're still in the works to figure out how that giveaway will work. So go ahead, Adam.
Yes, thank you, Rami. Okay, so Arthur, again, thank you very much for coming on. So maybe just take a little bit of time just to introduce yourself for people that don't know you or maybe don't know you that well. So just kind of who you are, where you're trained, how long you've been training for, that sort of stuff.
All right, yeah, so Arther Chandramohan, very long name. A lot of people call me Zuka, that's my nickname. I train with Omar Salvosa out of Toronto. We have a couple of affiliate branches like Welland, Trenton, Buffalo. I've been training since I was like 14, and I was in the kids class, and then around 15, close to 16, I got entered the adults class, and like honestly, it just blew me away, and I loved it, and I just started training more and more ever since then. And so I'm purple belt right now with one stripe.
What year was it you started training? You said you're 14?
So I'm 20 right now, 6 years ago roughly. So yeah.
2007, right?
Yeah.
I remember when I started, because I didn't start until late summer 2008.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going to these tournaments, and I remember you. Like, you were very young at the time, obviously. I just remember this crazy skinny Indian guy who'd be like jumping guard from like 15 feet away. You would jump guards and your legs would just kind of float. Like, it was awesome. I remember you way back in the day.
And he wouldn't even look tired. I remember you'd like look at him, he wouldn't look tired at all, and then he'd come back with a gold medal. You're like,
I don't get why people say that. Like I get really bad cases of nerves and I feel exhausted. And my teammates are always like, you don't look tired, but I'm dying between matches. I find that weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I don't know, like your game is very fast, and if people watch the highlight reel, they'll see like that's not just a highlight of his good moves. That's just him rolling. Like that's just it's like spinning upside down. Like where's that one that you did? You were inverted and then you
hopping on his back.
Hop on your back and you fling forward like a kangaroo or something. I don't know, man.
What? I've seen somebody actually do that and land it with a triangle. But is that something you practiced or drilled?
Well, I think what you're talking about, somebody did to one of the Broadnax brothers, but I initially saw David Bass do that. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's got one of the best inverted guards out there. Just check him out if you get a chance.
Yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen Arthur's highlight video, we posted it on the Facebook page the other day. Go check it out because, one of the reasons that we wanted to have Arthur on the podcast is he's got probably one of the most exciting and dynamic games certainly in our local scene in Ontario, which is a really big scene for jiu-jitsu right now. So, I got to check out that video because it's awesome.
Yeah, like even if I'm reffing or if I'm, even competing, if I see him competing in the corner of my eye, I'll watch sometimes. Or if I'm reffing, I'll kind of like find a reason to stop and watch. So, very exciting guy. So anyway, we stroked your ego enough there, I think.
It's funny though, because I actually expected Ahmed would hate your game since you're actually seeking submissions constantly, whereas Ahmed's looking only to get points.
there's nothing wrong with a solid point game.
There's nothing wrong with squeaking out an advantage win or a ref's decision.
Oh my God, I've only had like a handful of those. Man. Come on.
So Arthur, you said your nickname is Zuka. So what's that all about?
Yeah, so I don't know. Recently, I've been starting to doubt it. And there's this guy in my gym. He's kind of crazy. He travels like 2 hours to train with us, and I don't know. It's kind of random. Just one day, he's like, "You're like this African warlord. You just kill people, Arther Zuka." And I'm like, "Okay, like thanks, I guess." And then I thought that was it. I went home. The next day, I came back, and everyone just started calling me Zuka.
So
and then,
how old were you?
I think I was like 17. 18.
Okay, so you're still a kid, kind of like, oh, okay, like.
Yeah, like I mean, he's a big guy, right? So I was just like, I can't argue with him. And then, yeah.
So, Arthur, can you again? We listed this on our post when we were talking about you coming on, but can you list some of your highlights, like is some of the big tournaments that you've won or medaled at anyway?
Yeah,
just so people have an idea.
I wouldn't say won, but I came close, and I always kind of choke in the finals. But so Worlds, I got a silver. Abu Dhabi Pro Trials, I got a silver again, but that one was a decision. And in terms of IBJJF, New York Open, I got silver. I do like silver a lot. And then Toronto Open, I guess, was my first gold at IBJJF.
For the Abu Dhabi one, was that in the absolute or was that in your division?
It was my division.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it was against Dante Leon in the finals.
Oh, okay. He's like that prodigy kid, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really talented.
Getting articles written about him.
Yeah, he destroyed Pan Am's World. He did really well.
The one that you did for when you got silver in Worlds, that was in was that 2012 or 2000?
Yes,
was it
2012.
Yeah, okay. Could you go? Sorry, go on.
Was it blue belt? Sorry, was it blue belt or purple? I can't remember.
It was blue belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And then what was some of your what I was getting to, like what was, did you do something in particular to get ready for that? Because that's getting silver in Worlds is pretty big.
I get that a lot, but it's like in terms of the conditioning question. But so what it was, it's like the Worlds have always been like my biggest goal, right? Worlds and opening up my own gym, and it was like my final year at blue belt, and I'm like, if I screw this up, I'm not getting another shot, and I really felt like it was my only chance, so I poured everything into it. I'd wake up at 5, I'd do weights, and then I'd do sprints, I'd go swimming, I'd train jiu-jitsu like 12 times a day, I'd be eating clean, like just pure motivation, like I was super driven. And, it's like I had 7 fights, and I felt great, to be honest, and it's just like preparation. I think I did 6 weeks out, and I just, put everything I could into it without breaking down my own body.
How does that kind of compare to what you do now?
Yeah. Like right now, I'm just kind of going through an injury phase, I'd say. But I train mainly because I enjoy it, and when I'll try to train as much as I can without getting hurt. But I don't know, it's starting to catch up with me, I guess. So I'm trying to train smarter. I'm incorporating drilling. Like 2012 Worlds, I didn't really drill. It was a lot of rolling, right? Just conditioning, muscle memory. Like for those, I was really like 10 moves. I'm like, these are the 10 moves I'm gonna practice. These are the 10 moves I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna stray from the game plan. But, that also limits your growth. So, I don't know, like I'm still trying to figure out the best way to train, right? So you look at guys like Gianni Grippo, and in a recent interview, he's like, we can't just train harder all the time. Yeah, so I'm just trying to incorporate more drilling now. And I'm trying to train like maybe just once a day, 6-7 times a week.
For Worlds there, when you were doing that, you're saying 6 weeks out, wake up 5 in the morning, swimming, running, weights, etc. How did you fit that in? Because some people don't know. You also go to university,
Sorry,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm good at time management, and it's like everything worked perfectly. So my work is like I get really weird shifts, and it just works perfectly. So that as soon as I get off work, I go to the gym, and as soon as I finish noon training, I can go to the gym or go to work, and I don't know, just everything worked out nicely. But it's like if you don't have time during the day, get up earlier. It's honestly, I think it's as simple as that. Cut your sleep. Cut whatever you have to.
So it's just a matter of just good scheduling, basically. Just
planning
it's like
your
scheduling,
day. Willpower. Like how badly do you want to commit to it? Some guys are like, I don't want to get up at 7 and train. But you know, like I think Adam, you work a night shift, right?
Yeah, I work the
Yeah,
nights.
so it's like you kind of know what the struggle is like. Sometimes you got to make that sacrifice of sleep to train.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but Arthur, when was Worlds? Well, what month is that again, guys?
I think
Someone
it's
help
the
me.
first week of June, and I always take summer courses. So
Right, yeah. So I guess it just boggles my mind how you're able to balance school, work, training like a guy who's full time. Like, that's just crazy. Uh, is there any other advice besides time management you can give to some people out there? I mean, obviously not me, I can't do that. But if to other people, maybe young like you, who are ambitious enough, like is it just that simple? Time management,
I
hunger.
mean, yeah, it's like hunger is such a big thing. Like your drive, I really just think is everything. But sometimes you just gotta make sacrifices in certain areas. Like sometimes your social life will suffer for 2, 3 months, but at the end you gotta ask yourself, do you want that world medal or do you want to party a lot in those 2 months, right? And like for me, it was really obvious what I wanted.
So like
Well,
how does that change? Like what are your thoughts on trying to go for that, like trying to attempt a silver medal or even better at purple belt? Like what
I absolutely wanted like this year I didn't even really want to go, but my really good chilling partner Graham Peckham, he's an up and comer. He wanted to go and he's like he needed me in his corner. Like we just work well together like that, and vice versa. Like when he corners me, I do really well. So I kind of just went down for him. To be honest, I was training only like 6, 7 times a week. Nah, it wasn't really into it, But I do want to hopefully try and repeat what I did at blue at purple. And in my second and third year as a purple, I really hope it's possible. And I like to think it
that's
is.
that's some like really good friendship to be going down there just
Yeah, well, I
support.
mean, I mean, yeah, but it's also like, it's a team bonding experience too, right? You get like 6 of your teammates, you guys go down for a couple days. I don't know. I just think it makes for better training when you're closer with your teammates.
You said you were recovering from some injuries. What are you recovering from right now, Arthur?
Oh,
And
yeah,
like
so
what's the time frame for getting back into competing?
it just depends on the injury really, but I'm also, it's funny, no offense when I say older, but a lot of the older guys in my gym that are like, 30 or whatever, they they give me advice like since I was 16, and I just kind of I guess took it for granted. So they're just like, if you have an injury, take proper care of it. You need to build, like for example, I play so much guard, right? I bend so much, and they're always telling me you got to stretch, you got to build the core muscles, so your back has support and like it can rely on other muscle groups and stuff like that. And I just I was like, whatever, I just want to roll. I want to run inside the gym, throw my gi on and roll. And now I'm really starting to see the wisdom in that. So actually what happened for this year at Worlds is it was literally like the day before the tournament, before Worlds, and I was like, I'm not going to compete because my back was like so bad. I was stuck in bed for like 2 weeks, and it's just from playing too much guard. So now I'm working more passing. I'm trying to do lower back exercises, work the glute, hamstrings, like because I think jujitsu guys have a huge muscle imbalance, right? Like our quads and our abs are super developed, and then you look at our hamstrings, our glutes, and our lower back. It's really, I don't think there's a good balance there. Just little things like that. And
So
then
like
my
you, oh,
hmm?
go
No, just
ahead.
I think like that's one of the most common injuries. Like I was talking to really really high level guys, and a lot of them tell me they have lower back pain.
I mean, even me, like I'll roll one night and the next morning I get up, I can't even bend over, and my back is all tight.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's common with everybody, especially when you are a guard player.
mind
Yeah.
you, Jordan's about double your age there, Zuka. So.
But like Arthur, like you were saying that now you're working a little bit more like guard passes and stuff. I actually remember when we did a that referee clinic a little while ago. I still remembered you distinctly saying, uh, you said something like, "I only pass a guard if I really have to," as in you're
I
pretty
know,
much a
and I hate
guard player.
myself
So,
for that. And I
dude,
can't tell you how many matches I've lost for that, and how many times it's burned me, and how many times I've returned back to, just guard. And it's tough,
so
man. It's like I
so
don't want to be that guy, but
well, that's what I want to ask you. Like, what are you doing to kind of I don't know if you want to say catch up because I'm sure your guard passing is pretty good,
no,
but
no, no. That's the very good choice of words.
so then what are you doing to get it up to par with your guard? Because I know your guard's really good.
Literally, I have like right now my training. It's like in terms of ratio, it's like a 15 to 1 passing to guard. Like I'm trying as much as I can to play that top. And the good thing is, like, when you play guard, you can be such a lazy guy, you know? Your cardio is still garbage when you go to tournament. You work passing, and your cardio just feels amazing. I went into the tournament, and even with that huge adrenaline dump, like, my cardio felt great. And I'm also trying to just work a bit of judo and wrestling. Just, anything.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because, certainly I've only kind of been in the competition scene for the last year and a half now, and I've always known you to be a guard player. And then Niagara Open this year in the spring, right?
Yeah,
I watched you like
started.
you just like you went in and just wrecked everybody from stand up. Like you had some of the sickest takedowns in that tournament.
I still
it was
remember
awesome.
hearing people like as I was like because I competed that day too, and I still remember hearing people like, "Oh, Arthur's just gonna do wrestling today." I heard like 10 people say that, and then I look over and he's taking every single person down
He like
at will.
wrecked guys. It was awesome.
No, I'm very lucky. We have like, if you guys know Val Austinov, he's like a
Oh,
very
yeah.
high level wrestler, and two of his direct students are like Amir Nick Nazar and Marcus Kumala from my gym, and they're very nice. They work one on one with me, and anytime I have a question, they're very good to me about that, you know. So I don't know. It helps your confidence when you have such a good wrestler giving you that one on one time.
What belt are these guys, just so I know?
Oh, Amir's a purple belt.
Oh, God.
And yeah, no, he's really good. He's got like crazy knee bars. And Marcus, he's trying to revive the turtle guard. He's a blue belt. He's very cool. I think he's 4 stripes blue belt. And he's a guy that'll purposely jump into turtle and start playing it.
That's awesome. I love the turtle game.
Oh, he loves
Really?
tennis. That's his hero.
Yeah. You mentioned your one training partner. What's his name? Graham Peckham, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen him compete, and he's got a very similar game to yours. And you said he was your #1 training partner.
Oh, absolutely. For
Yeah,
Bolos, the guy's a genius.
For sure. And so this leads me to my question then, and it's something that we've talked about on this podcast a couple times is facing teammates. All right. So, I mean, you guys, for example, are in different divisions tomorrow, for example. But,
Yeah, I'm actually on weight for feather, but yeah, we
Okay.
kind of talked about it.
Yeah. So for the sword, because that's the only reason. Just so you guys all know,
Competing.
No, don't say it. Don't say it.
Zuka only competes for like monetary items, such as championship belts and samurai swords. I don't know why. It could be.
I know, but I don't have either. So you.
It could be $10,000 cash prize. He's like, no, I don't want that. I want that sword. So anyway, what I'm getting at is, how do you feel about competing against teammates?
Yeah. So I mean, I personally, I don't think it's good, and I'm totally against fighting teammates. But I am for putting on a show for the audience, especially if it's finals of the light absolute and it's me and Graham. We'll put on a show. And if he wins, that's cool, but like I would definitely like the sword. Plus I'm his ride back, so it's like if he wants a ride, I gotta
He's
Okay.
walking back.
Okay, I can respect that. So certain scenarios, you're like, yeah, just go for it. If there's a trip on the line, or if there's
Yeah, I mean, it's like you also have an idea of roughly who's gonna win, right? Like I don't want to go to war with a teammate. That's I don't think that's cool. Especially if somebody gets hurt. I'm not trying to take that teammate out of training for. You know what I mean? So I just look at it statistically. If I roll with this guy 10 times, who's going to win 6 or more times?
yeah. Okay. All right.
So like just kind of taking a step back to the fact that you're doing guard passing and whatnot. Is there somebody? This is always something that I kind of go through where when I'm trying to learn different position or different kind of guard or whatever, I always try to look for.
Mimic someone?
What's that? Yeah. Is there somebody in particular you're going for right now, or do you
Absolutely.
usually do that?
It's actually like funnily enough, it's my wrestling instructor's choice and who I'm mimicking. Leandro Lowe. I love his like passing style. It's I just like being on the outside. I don't like getting tangled up. And I think he does a great job of that. And he breaks the spirit, which I also love. So like if you don't know my instructors, he's ahead. Like when he passes, he breaks your spirit, right? So when I roll with him, it's normally 2.5 minutes, and then he just breaks you. And I just like I try to recreate that. So what I do is like I try to pass, just like Will. I try to pass, let the guy slightly recover, pass again, and you just continue that, and the guy you can see his spirit just.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
love it.
Well, we talk about that all the time. It's like that's when my heart like just breaks. I'm like,
Exactly.
you know
You
what,
usually
guy?
see it in their eyes.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you want this
you can
pass
see
so
the
bad,
soul. Yeah,
just
exactly.
take it.
No, I
Yeah.
completely agree. I love that. Like the best pastors, I find it just break you.
That's good.
Do you practice putting yourself in bad positions a lot?
Well,
I know Ahmed does not. He prefers to be on top and things like that. But I see the value in putting yourself in bad
Why?
positions.
Why do that
I
to
do agree.
yourself? No, I'm just.
No. Like I kind of like I'm kind of undecided, I guess, on the fence, you could say. When I started, I was a tiny little kid, right? So I would always be in bad positions. But now it's like I got a bit of technique and a little bit of power to back it up. So now I'm kind of spoiled, and I don't like to put myself really in bad positions. But I do try to sometimes, especially against lower belts, and just practice like my side escapes, my turtle, and stuff, back defense. But yeah, I think it's important too.
Yeah, I totally agree.
No, I mean it is like okay. So Arthur, really quick, like this is something that I've been one drill I'd like to do. It's not necessarily like you want to put yourself in bad position. It's like, and correct me if I'm wrong. You tell me because you're way better than I am. But if I take you and I just start in side control on you, and just start from there, and then bam, let's go. Okay, yeah, you're in a bad position. You'll regard and whatever. But how would you simulate, in your opinion? It's not having someone on my back, and it's not having someone on my side control, but it's them getting there. It's me fighting it for like a minute, just like you said, and then my spirit's broken. Then they have my side
Yeah,
control.
but you
Like, how do you
gotta
simulate that?
honestly, I think you just gotta detach yourself from that. You know what I mean? Like I find like sometimes I do that in a tournament. I start like I continue to think about one little bad moment, and that takes me away from the current fight. And I think that's like a horrible habit. And I really just try to focus like section by section. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay, he beat me in the guard, but he's not gonna beat me in the side control battle. And I find if he's in side control and you're still focusing on he's past my guard, it just takes away from your side focus. You know what I mean? Like I really just try to detach myself from that previous part and focus on what's currently happening. And I think it's just good to have strong willpower, you know? And I just find it develops that. And being comfortable. A lot of guys panic like crazy in side control. And I'm so comfortable in side control.
Okay, so long story short, get comfortable.
Exactly.
Detach yourself from the panic that comes with getting past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
It's almost like
Go ahead, Adam.
I was gonna say it's not even like I don't know, for me, because I've experienced that too. It's not so much a panic thing. It's just like Ahmed said. It's like how like recovering from that like broken spirit. Like
Yeah, the
I just
mental
fought
recovery.
I just fought this pass for like 30 seconds, and I'm gassed, and all of a sudden I'm in a side control. And it's just like I've been there sometimes, and it's just like you just want to give up. You're like, just take an arm, just take whatever, right? It's just whatever. I'm done, right?
I think most videos I have of myself competing where they do shatter my will. I always look at the person coaching me, and it's on video, so it's the person coaching me is usually recording. So I look right at the camera, and you can see my heart just breaking.
I just don't feel like you can ever get comfortable in those positions until you put yourself there over and over and over again. Once you've been there and you've had to like recover guard and things like that, like that's the only time that you're ever gonna get comfortable with it.
I think I was even reading something on Dean Lister where he's like he only starts rolling from horrible positions, which I think is kind of a.
I think that's cool, but he's also like a gigantic man, right? So
that's true too.
When you're like a 145-pound Indian, it's harder to apply.
I love how being Indian was important.
No, okay, I'm gonna be like completely serious with you for a second. I think as like an Indian guy, I have so many like genetic obstacles to overcome. Like, we are so unathletic. But I think that's why. No, I swear to God, I have this feeling. I think that's why Indian guys and like brown guys, we're so good at guard. Like Manchur Kara, the guy from Kobina at 181, the purple belt. What's his name? That just went to med school. Rehan Muttalib. Like these guys are all great at guard because we're not really athletic people. But we try to find like an easy way to do things, and I think guard is like the epitome of that. You know what I mean? And I honestly think like most brown people tend to gravitate towards guard.
You heard it here first, folks.
So it wasn't us.
Brown people are not athletic.
It's true. It's true. Look.
I prefer guard too. I think I'm probably just embracing my inner brown guy.
So Arthur, where do you see your game going next? Like, so you're just gonna keep working the passing, want to keep rounding out your game? Is that kind of where you're headed?
But like, unfortunately, I find when I work my passing, my guard gets rusty, and like, it's just tough to keep that balance. But I like, just to pick an example, I like what Danis is doing. This guy's a sick judo black belt, and then he goes and he jumps guard. You know what I mean? And now he's developing his guard. I really like that. His gi, his no gi. I'm trying to develop everything, but I'm still trying to keep. I still want people to think it's like, oh, I shouldn't enter Arthur's guard lightly, you know? I still want people to have some fear of my guard, but I want to be able to fight from anywhere.
Yeah, because it's you know, you want to keep developing your strengths, but at the same time, you don't want that gap between, you know, your strengths and your weaknesses to get too wide, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, who've been some of your favorite matches, or some, you know, well, especially in Ontario, right? You're competing against the same people fairly often. Who are some of your favorite people to compete against?
Oh, okay. Well, oh, that's a tough one. But I can say it's not Alistair Barr, because A, it's a tough fight, and B, I fought him like 10 times. For some reason, I always get him first round. But I enjoy fighting Alessandro. Like, he's just very skilled, and it motivates me.
In what way?
Yeah, can you explain that a bit?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just his work ethic, and he just doesn't give up, and he keeps going. His movements, I think, are like near flawless. Like, when he does a pass, the way he does it, it looks like there's 10,000 reps behind it. The finals of his Abu Dhabi Pro match, he had at the time, he had like a signature pass, and just the way he did it, you know, you could have predicted it, but it was just flawless. And I fight him, and I can feel the difference in reps, and it just makes me literally just want to go right after the tournament to the gym and just start repping my moves, you know?
That's an interesting take. I never really thought of that.
You can just feel the difference. Like, just to pull the other, like a personal example, when I was at Worlds 2012, and those 10 moves that I planned on doing, I had so many reps behind them. It's like I wasn't even thinking, you know? It's like, it was just happening. I was just there. I don't know how to explain it like better than that, but I kind of get that feeling with Alessandro.
Do you prefer to work specific techniques then? Like, if you maybe have like a particular game plan in mind, you're like, I want to do like these 10 techniques, as opposed to like just doing whatever.
Yeah, like I like to, but you know, sometimes you're just having fun training, and it's hard to, like, tomorrow, when I fight, I have a rough idea. Yeah, I'm gonna play guard, but I don't really know what guard, and because it's tough to know how your opponent's gonna react, what their lead leg is. Like, some guys will give you Del Hiva happily, but won't give you Ass Fighter, and vice versa. So I try not to go too game plan crazy.
So if like you had so much, I kind of wonder, because like if you had so much success at Worlds having those 10 techniques, why do you feel like it's better right now to stick, like, to change it up, I guess? Like, why would you want to go away from that?
I want to evolve too, right? Like, if I do eventually get my black belt, I don't want to be a black belt with 8 good moves. If I have my students, and I would like to have them one day, I want to be able to answer any question about any position. I don't want to, like, I don't want to be more of a novice in certain regions and an expert in some. So I can give you great guard answers, but for passing, I'd be like, go ask my blue belt student, you know?
So, like, ultimately, like, because you're I don't know if we covered this already, but you're in school now and everything. So, like, is your final goal, like, your objective is to just own your own school? Like, that's what you want
absolutely, 100%. I love seeing, it's funny, I was thinking about it today. It's like, just like a competitor, a good measurement of his results is really just medals, right? And I think a good measurement of a great teacher is his students' medals. I do like the idea of working one-on-one with students, and then producing, like, amazing competitors, and, you know, not just competitors, people that just love to train and don't even have to compete.
So is that going to be something where, do you think that'll end up taking over more than competing? Like you'll.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think competing is just tough on the body, and I don't expect to do it for ages. But I also know a lot of really good black belts tend to hit the peak of their career at like 26 to 30. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Shanji Barrow and stuff. Like they're all older, and I don't know. So it's tough to say, but at the same time, I gotta put food on my plate. I can't just live with my parents till I'm 30.
Well, you could.
I could, but I don't know, I guess.
You know what, guys? This takes me to one topic I'd like to touch on, Arthur, and that is, well, what are your opinions on people who train full time?
Oh, I think it's amazing, and you know, if my body could handle it, I would do it. Like, there's guys like Darson, and I think it's great what they do. I think it's amazing. Like that guy commits himself to jujitsu in every sense. When he's not training, he's drilling. When he's not drilling, he's watching videos. When he's not watching videos, he's probably thinking about it. You know, I think that stuff is amazing. Those guys just like amazing.
Well, you know what? Maybe you know more about this as well, but where's the finances? Like how does that come into play? I've always wondered, like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's tough.
yeah, jiu-jitsu doesn't pay. I don't think. Like, I mean, sponsors maybe will throw you some kickbacks here and there, but like, you know, some schools I hear will cover your tuition and everything. But you know, like, did you know any other sources or something? I don't know. Is there
No, to
another
be
source
honest,
of
like I
income?
find even most sponsors like they don't like. So let's talk to one of the guys that's sponsored by Shohiro, and he was just saying it's not really money. It's G's. No one's like it's not like Shohiro's allowing 20 guys to just train all day and pay for their food and houses. It's not like that, right? So like that's why I think it's important that to even have a part-time job, you got to save up. It's like
Well,
it's tough, I know, to work and save up and all that and train, but
Well, I think even like because we had Wolf on a little while ago, and he was even saying like that's probably one of the hardest things for him. Like he trains all week long, and then on the weekends he has to like put his time in and work just so he can keep that lifestyle up.
Well, because there's like
I think there's just a lot to dedicate, right?
there's not a lot of money in jiu-jitsu at this point. I mean,
yeah, currently I think it's
right? It's like, you know, it's not like you've got guys that are getting like, you know, $6 million Nike sponsorships, right? Because the viewership, right? Like the fan base hasn't grown yet. We're still kind of we're a fairly niche sport, I think, right?
Yeah, but I think you want to stay ahead of the curve, right? So let's just for example, let's look at something like wrestling, where I think it's possible to make at least a decent living. But because of that fact, there's so many more people entering the sport and training hard because there's a realistic potential goal of making a living through that. But in jiu-jitsu, I think that's what I mean. Like we're ahead of the curve. Not a lot of guys like I truly think as a competitor can make a living, right? But maybe in 10 years it will be possible. But in 10 years, if you start training, you know, that's a huge leg. So I don't know. If it is possible, I would like to be a great competitor at the time it is possible, as opposed to starting to train seriously.
No, that's a great point too, because I mean, you know, I've only been in jiu-jitsu for a few years now, but I've even seen just in that short time the growth. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, we see growth, right? But yet, I go to tournaments around this area here, and they're not really highly attended. So
yeah, but there's also like 25 tournaments a year in Toronto,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, you might only get 300-400 people, maybe 200 people out for smaller tournaments, but
yeah,
they're running every 3 weeks.
Well, what's the percentage of competitors from each school that go? Like, I know our particular school, there's only a handful of guys that actually go and compete. So I'm not exactly sure what it's like at other schools, but if it's any indication of like our school is any indication, then it's a very small amount of people that are actually going to these tournaments, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's
Well,
our gym as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Arthur, like, go ahead.
I was just gonna touch on that, sorry, Rami. Like, you look at Ascension, for example, where you train Arthur, and like, you know, you may not have a lot of people going to every tournament, but like, you look at like the Ascension Open or the Niagara Open, right? Those tournaments, you'll see like 200 competitors from Ascension, right?
Yeah, but
it's like you guys come out in force.
I know. But the one thing you got to consider is the majority of it is, in my opinion, it's like Ascension and they have a huge kids program, and I think that's one of the biggest like addition to the numbers, you know? Just at our local team, let's just say we have maybe just under 80, 100 people or something. I don't know, the atmosphere isn't super competitive, but I think having a couple competitors motivates other people to compete, right? So like me and Grant, we train hard. We're always like, I don't want to say yelling, but we're always trying to convince other people to train hard, push, grow, even compete. And I find like what we do to others, others will continue to do to someone else. But
Totally
yeah.
agree.
So just like stepping back a little bit more, but like you were saying that there is actually money in wrestling, and I didn't really know that. But what are those? Like, how is that happening? What do you mean?
I wouldn't even say as a competitor, but I know like a lot of people, like it's very easy, I find, to, teach wrestling at a school or something. Compare that to teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Within the TDSB, I know a lot of people that teach wrestling, right? And some of them don't get paid, but I just find they're open to that concept of having a wrestling club. But a Jiu-Jitsu club is still so foreign, It's like, right now I think the Jiu-Jitsu niche is very small, but I think there's so many places where it can go into.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's almost too bad that there isn't a way for those guys who are doing full time to make a decent living, or like have, and I say that just because it's like, okay, we train every day, or we train like once a day, like the casual person trains once a day or whatever, but those guys who commit full time, they're usually the ones who are going to actually help our game in some way, because we get to see the new moves that they're pulling off. We get to see their evolution. We can kind of learn from it, and they don't really get much for it,
Well, that's how I learn. Like, I'll go to a tournament, I'll get my ass handed to me by a guy I know trains a lot. I bring it back to the club, and people might take it as well. Like, I don't know. Like, I try to bring the bolo to Sisu. #bolo.
Well, like, explain why you why you wanted to do the berimbolo.
Okay. Well, I think I mentioned this before, but a competitor, very talented competitor, Nate Dos Santos, in October did it to me. It's the first time I've ever been boloed in my life. I kind of knew what it was, but I didn't, whatever. Did it to me, and eventually, bow and arrow, and that was it. And I think that was the loss that I learned from the most. And I'll face him another 10 times, and I'll probably lose another 10 times, and learn 10 more things. But it was something that I studied this, this berimbolo. I looked out the videos. I asked people. I believe Arthur, my brother, and I were even asking you about it. Back in the day, just say, hey, what do you do? And you gave us some advice, and then you went into rebolo 50-50, and then you blew my mind. I'm like, okay, I gotta go back a little bit more, So I really believe that, like, competing against these high level guys, it helps the club grow. Now, I'm not saying my club will all do bolos, and I'm not trying not to rant too much, because sometimes I'll say at the end something really weird, but I'm saying that what I'm trying to say is that at least now they might know how to stop me from doing it, because now I can't do it to anyone anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, at least there's some positive aspects.
You gotta have some exposure to it. I agree. You can't just be blind to certain move sets.
Exactly. So where this all started was we were talking about full-time guys and how they help us learn, and I'm just saying I totally agree with that. Because
Yeah, Ahmed, I have a question for you.
For me. Okay.
Yeah. Do you plan to continue to use the berimbolo once you get your brown belt?
Well, you know what's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. So for those of you,
so for those of you who are not aware, I actually went and trained with Ahmed and Jordan for the first time last week. Actually met Jordan for the first time ever on Thursday in person. I went and trained with them on Thursday.
And they were hugging like they knew each other forever.
Our souls are connected. But
I felt it. We were connected at the heart.
But then on Sunday I went to Bravado, Gracie Woodbridge, and trained with him again. And I was rolling with Ahmed, and he went to berimbolo me, and he inverted, and then he stopped, and he goes, "Wait, you're not gonna like knee bar me, are you?" So Ahmed, I'm just wondering if your fear of the knee bar will prevent you from doing the berimbolo at brown belt.
Well, you know what? First off, brown belt's a very far belt for me, but when it does happen, hopefully I'll learn more about knee bars and stuff. Like, Arthur, you know how you're saying, like, when you have a school and like a student comes up to you and goes, "Hey, how do you guard fast?" and you like talk to a blue belt.
Yeah.
I'm like for knee bars, I'm like a white belt, like right now. Like you know what I mean? Like
We don't even do knee bars and toe holds at my gym, honestly. And there was the Ontario Open Nogi, and I think that was the first time I tried a toe hold because I saw it in a video, and I ended up letting the guy get side control. I was like, oh, I didn't know that could happen.
You've got some pretty nice ankle lock submissions that I've seen though, Arthur. Has that been something that you've always worked on, or?
Yeah, I always did like it, but I was watching man, Edwin Najmi, and that just cleaned up my ankle lock so much. Like my success rate just like times like 50. I can't even explain how much of a difference it made.
What was it that made the difference?
It's just like so generally we have like two counter pressures. The way he does it, he has three, and it's just harder for the guy to get up to, and it's just like 1,000 times better. And then the grip that I use, I learned from Val Ostinov, who kind of has a sambo background, and I like the hybrid things, right? So it's like I like to take the best part of every person's ankle lock and create, an amazing ankle lock.
You say that you like to get different techniques from different guys and things like that. How do you feel about training at different clubs? Is it encouraged at your club as well?
Absolutely. Oh, especially for like, purple belts and up. Omar is very cool. Omar's like very supportive, and he does want what's best for me, and he's like, uh, I encourage you to go out to open mats and, have fun, try out new things, see what you can do. And I love open mats, to be honest. There's like the GTA lightweight training group or whatever. Whenever there's one of those, I'm so excited. Just, go roll with 25 people that otherwise I would never have rolled with.
Yeah, it does really definitely bring something else when you roll with people. I find even within clubs there's different trends. Like you'll see it at the tournament scene that there's different trends that come and go. But even within clubs, you'll find people that have like strengths in one area that you guys don't really train in, and it's good to really mix that up.
Yeah, like I kind of going back to what Ahmed said, it's you get exposure to different things when you go at a tournament and you fight a good guy and you bring it back. But it's kind of like a waterfall effect of what the teachers taught, and the non-competitors kind of, I find it's almost like scripted roles, especially with the guys that don't compete. So there's a couple of guys in my gym that don't compete a lot, and every time we roll, it's almost like move for move, the exact same roll. And then I roll with the competitive guys. The role just evolves over time. So yeah.
So would you say, what are your thoughts on people competing? Like, do you think that it's an integral part of growth in jiu-jitsu?
Okay, here's my opinion. I know this sounds bad, but I'm gonna force my kid to do jiu-jitsu, but I'm not gonna force him to compete. I highly recommend it, but I realize what a stressful event it is. But I really think you should at least compete 2 or 3 times at each belt. It can totally change your view on training. You think you're training hard, and then you go and you fight the Nathan Dos Santos of your division. You're like, oh man, I wasn't training hard at all. And I find that it'll motivate you, it'll inspire you. But at the same time, it's like, personally, my first couple tournaments, I couldn't sleep for 3 weeks before. And I wouldn't wish that upon, anyone.
Even from a self-defense point of view, though, like competing at a tournament is a completely different animal than from a hard roll at a club. And I mean, until you feel that intensity, like you don't understand what it's like when somebody's coming at you full force.
Yeah, the adrenaline just messes with you. You can't think clearly.
Yeah, that's true.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, continue.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I totally agree. Like, I hate, like, especially if I win or lose. I rewatch it. I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, that's not what I do at all. I never do that. And sure enough, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the competition scripture. It's unchanged and it's for everyone.
It's funny though. Like for example, I did some boxing matches, whatever, and I compare that, like, hey guys, check it out, I'm multi-talented. But no, what I'm saying is that, I compare the nerves in that sport to jiu-jitsu, and it's funny, like, boxing I was very scared, like I was genuinely scared because I could really get hurt. But jiu-jitsu is a different kind of scared for me. It was more like I just don't want to fail. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could be like I don't know. I don't know how to explain the difference between the two, but it's like one, I was scared for my physical well-being, and jiu-jitsu, of course, you can still get very hurt, but I don't know, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it plays with my head so mentally, like you know what I mean? Like it really gets there, like and then I don't know.
No, I
Anyway,
completely agree. I
yeah,
feel like I age a lot every single tournament just from the
yeah,
stress.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm not concerned about my necessarily my well-being, but I'm just like, man, like I train like and Arthur, I've trained maybe 20% what you do, but like I consider myself to train quite a bit, and I'm like, man, what am I even doing this for? Why did I pay money to be here?
Yeah.
And all these thoughts go through my head.
That exact thought goes through my head every single tournament. I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Like, why am I
Yeah.
paying money to go and torture myself? And I don't know. And I still do
There's,
it.
How often do you compete, Arthur? I'm just curious because how often do you compete? Because I mean, I find the more you compete, the more you get comfortable with the tournament atmosphere and the less jitters that you get. So, do you ever find that you start getting comfortable and just relaxing in between matches, things like that?
No, like honestly, there's only 2 times ever out of I think I've done like 50 tournaments, 2 times ever. Once was the Blue Belt Worlds where I was like, this is what I have to do, and I'm here to accomplish my goals. And the other one was the Niagara Open, the Nogi, because I was just honestly I went in and I just had fun. But almost like every other time, I feel sick in my stomach and I despise competition. I just want to become a recreational guy.
there's like, yeah, I totally get that. There's been probably more times than I care to count where it's like even up to that moment where you like slap hands with the guy in your first match, and I'm just thinking like, what the hell am I doing here right now? Like, I would really much rather be doing something else. It's just like, and then it's just like a panic match. It's just I always lose those ones. I always know as soon as I slap hands with somebody, if I'm like, why am I here? I'm guaranteed gonna lose that match in like a very spectacular fashion.
I find it the worst when you step on the mats and then without any warning almost, the ref just like puts their hand down and
Yes.
says,
Oh, exactly. Like I have my rituals, right? And sometimes I don't get through all of them. I'm like, you can't just start the match like that.
I still have to sprinkle dust in the corners before we start.
Yeah. Seriously, like
no, I do that too sometimes. A ref, if it's been a long day, they come on. I'm like, batch, and then they look at me. And I'm like, what? Go. You know.
Harsh.
No, it's just a long day. I'm
so
reffing
actually,
tomorrow. I'm reffing tomorrow, guys. So.
Comments on shaking any competitor hands. That's it.
that raises a good point actually that we haven't talked about before, which is like kind of little rituals you have when you step onto the mats. So Arthur, what are yours?
Oh man, I don't. It's kind of embarrassing, but all right, I'll tell you like my main ones. So I don't know why, for some reason, like brushing my teeth relaxes me. I don't know if it's so like before a big competition, I'll literally brush my teeth for like 30, 40 minutes, which I'm sure is terrible.
Whoa.
He comes in, he's got no gums.
If you think I'm kidding, you can ask any of my teammates that I've traveled with, especially Graham Peckham. Like I'm sure he's thought about hiding my toothbrush at times. I like to also like I don't know how to explain it, but I find standing up, it feels like my heart right before the competition. It feels like my heart's gonna explode out of my chest because I'm so nervous. So I lie down and I try to go to sleep, and I find that relaxes me a ton. I was kind of debating bringing like a blanket, but I thought that'd be weird.
I think that
Like a
was
little
sweet.
travel pillow.
We like tuck him in. He's like sleeping.
You guys try it before you diss it. I'm telling you, close your eyes, like focus on. You know where I actually picked that up? The Kron Gracie highlight. His brown belt Pan Am highlight where he submitted everyone.
Yeah,
He takes the little nap before, and I'm like, man, this works wonders for your focus.
Yeah, I find like I spent a lot of last year trying to like find how to get my head in the game, and honestly, like laying down on the bleachers, I like to get to the tournament early because I don't like to be rushed on the day of the tournament. I like to get there early as possible, and like like if I can like just lay down on the bleachers and just close my eyes and try to relax, like slow my heart rate down a little bit, I personally find that helps me too.
Exactly, me too. That's it.
I really like it if you can take your mind off of it completely. Like if you can do something and focus your attention somewhere else, and then because I mean, what are you going to be able to focus on just before competing that you haven't already thought of 100 times, right?
Exactly.
Like you already know what you're going to do when you go out there. You're probably going to just you have a general game plan, but you're probably going to base a lot of what you do on what your opponent does, and you can't tell what they're going to do until they do it, right?
Exactly.
My ritual is I was just saying my ritual is in the warm up area. I get a partner and I do like awesome looking takedowns and shit. and then people see me and they're like, oh my god, that guy's got takedowns. and I don't.
It's like, Rami, hop up on my hip here.
Do wicked throws and stuff. Actually, I don't have any pre-trial whatever. I don't know. I'm reffing and then I hear my name being called and I change my stuff and I go on the mats, really. Which I don't think is... Yeah, you know, a lot of people tell me that they can't, but I don't know, reffing before competing actually relaxes me. I know a lot of the...
That's weird.
Yeah, man.
I feel like all the blood is in my feet, and like my hands are too cold because I'm in a short sleeve t-shirt. I don't know. There's all these little things.
I think you need to see a psychologist. No, I'm just messing. No, that's nerves and stuff. But you know, that's how I deal with mine. Seriously, like I ref and I watch some matches, and it gets my mind into jiu-jitsu because I literally have to think when I'm scoring, right? So. I don't know, I just see it in my head and I'm like, oh wow, this guy's doing something really cool, or this guy's doing something kind of weird, or, you know, and then I'm totally relaxed, and I don't know, that's just mine, so I guess that's my ritual of sorts.
For me, honestly, it's like, because I feel the same way when I refed and then competed after, I felt amazing. And I think the biggest reason is because when you ref, after a little while, you start getting really bored. So you're watching all these matches and you're just bored of watching them. But I find when you first enter like the venue or whatever you are, and you see people competing, that's when my heart starts racing the most. So it's like after I've been exposed to watching all these matches and I'm bored and I'm just like scoring them, it's like I go sit down and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go. I still remember the first time I ref, I was relieved that I got to go compete because I was so nervous refing.
Yeah, Arthur, it's like, think of it like, I don't know, a good analogy would be if there's like, no, that's not a good analogy. Never mind, go ahead. Never mind, I don't want to say it on the air. It's a clean show.
I also think it's so weird that you get so nervous because whenever I'm talking to Arthur, you can't tell, but it's
me? Is this about me?
Because every time I see him, like, and he's about to compete, he looks so calm.
If you like, I guess you wouldn't want it, but if you ever felt my hands, they were like super sweaty and super cold. Like it's like I get no blood flow to my hands. They're literally like ice, and on my knees. That's one of the reasons I jump guard too, because my knees get super shaky. So it's like, yeah, you think I'm kidding, but I'm dead serious.
You go through some like horrible stuff.
And we like put ourselves through it like all the time. It's like
you guys should be thankful you don't go through my.
I think it's because we're not really good. We have nothing to lose, really.
You got to think, like, if you're going to put yourself through that, then, like, what's the upside? What is it? Is it getting your hand raised at the end of the match? Is it getting a sub in a competition? Is it standing on the podium? What is it? What's the reason for competing then?
Like, for me, I don't know. It's sorry, no, go ahead, Adam.
No, it's for swords and belts. That's why.
No, it's not that easy. Like, personally, the reason I compete is so, you know, I try to get my name out there. So one day, if I do open my own gym, I want people to be like, man, that guy did pretty well as a competitor. I'd like to send my kids to his gym. And of course, the swords is a plus too.
The wall of his gym is just going to be all swords.
Exactly.
So Arthur, you're saying it's a business move.
Yeah, essentially it is.
Well, that's why we compete, because we don't want to be on this podcast and people are like, oh, they don't even compete. I compete for the podcast. I'm like, it's literally a business move. It's a business move, so people can be like, oh yeah, he competes. Okay, sure. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I do it.
Wow, that guy's legit.
Yeah, I just go out and compete and lose, and people are like, yeah, that guy competes a lot.
Screw you, Adam. That wasn't very nice at all.
No, I said I competed.
I thought you were talking about me. Okay, no.
You know, it would make more sense if we took all our medals and put them in behind us for the podcast. Put them up on the wall behind you.
You maybe see one of mine just hanging there. All right.
It's like, it's not. It's just. What's this American National silver medal? How did I get here? This thing. He's like wearing it around his neck. He's like, oh, I didn't even realize.
What's it?
Rami's the kind of guy who will have 2 medals and just clang them around.
Arthur, really quick, like, what medals? Sorry, if you won your medals, do you walk around and let them clang all day, or do you just kind of?
No, I put them away. I think it's. I don't think that's like a good thing to do, to just wear it all day.
Thank you. Arthur, Ahmed actually just takes them and hits them together.
Oh, God.
Just looking around to see if anybody's watching him.
Okay, guys, let's get back to a real question. I think we just kind of circled through for a little bit there, but Arthur, really quick for you, what tournaments? How do you choose your tournaments? I mean, you're saying, like, it sounds like you go through friggin' hell every tournament. So how do you choose, like, specific ones? Do you really go for the, like, especially now you're a purple belt, you're kind of a big name, especially in the local scene. Do you choose specifically the IBJJF tournaments, the pro trials? Do you, like, I know you're doing a GTA tomorrow. Is that more just for fun?
Well, it's like, I want to, Sub-X, I think itself is great, right? I can't say for sure about this year, but last year they did raise money for charity, and I think Sub-X itself is great exposure, but I definitely try to go...
quickly explain what Sub-X is for the people listening around the world?
You got like, yeah, it's true. It's like the Hickson Gracie submission challenge or whatever, I guess. I don't know if that accurately describes it. It's like you have 7 to 10 super fights roughly, and just, guys that are up and coming on the local scene, they normally have 2 to 3 black belt fights. And personally, like, I don't celebrate Christmas, but for me, Sub-X is Christmas. I love jiu-jitsu, and you get to see all the awesome local guys fight, and I love it. It's honestly, it's like my favorite day of the year.
Awesome. All right. So what about the other tournaments then?
It's prestige, honestly. Like, for me, one of my biggest things right now is Abu Dhabi. I want a gold at the trials. And then I'd love to go and fight in front of the Sheik, just to say that you did it, and separate yourself maybe a little bit from just being a regular competitor. Try to show that you're more serious about jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
Very well done. Nice. Right.
All right, so we're coming up right on an hour actually, so this is pretty good. Does anybody have any kind of final questions for Arthur at all?
Well, I mean, like, this hour just kind of flew. Like,
yeah, it has actually.
We have a whole bunch, but we obviously can't get to those, and I guess we don't want to technically go over. So no, I'm good myself.
No, I'm
Jordan,
good.
Anything? No, Rami?
Okay. We had a pretty good conversation, and Arthur was really good about answering all the questions we had, so that was good for me, man.
Arthur, do you have anything else you want to add? Any sponsors you want to thank? Any people you want to thank? Anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure I'm going to forget some, and by some I mean a lot, but number one, VVV Fight Co. They've kind of been there from the beginning, even before I started getting decent results. So I really appreciate that support, right? It's like a kind of leap of faith. Platinum Jiu-Jitsu, based out of Hawaii. They've been really supportive too, sending me a lot of gear, and I appreciate that, helping me get my name out there. Thank my main, obviously all my teammates, but there's a couple teammates that I can always count on them to come in early and allow me to drill for a tournament. Like Graham Peckham, Ankler Staney, Joel Cuenca, Chris Fidelos. Like, these guys are awesome. Very supportive teammates. Omar for just letting me play guard through blue belt. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, he gave me the purple on the condition that I had to learn passing.
That's fair. Awesome. So, I mean, thank you so much for coming on, Arthur. It's as Jordan said, this hour's really flown by, so we might have to have you back on again to get through our other questions. But thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate all the insight that you gave us, and I guess we'll wrap it up there for episode 13 of Just the Gi Top podcast. So, thanks everybody.
Tomorrow, yeah. Good luck tomorrow.
Oh yes, yeah. So for anybody who's listening,
I hope they don't wrap up they don't put the absolute purples all together. Because then Zuka's like in my division then.
So yeah, so for anybody who's tuning in live, if you're at the GTA BJJ Classic tomorrow, I will be there. Ahmed will be there. Arthur will be there. Ahmed and I will be representing VHTS, wearing our VHTS skis. So stop, say hi to us, talk to us, whatever. We're not as intimidating celebrities as we appear.
Buy me an acai bowl if you want. I'll eat it. I'll eat it with you.
And for the California fans, I'll be in I think on Sunday at the Abu Dhabi trials over there.
Nice.
Maybe show up and get your autograph.
Yeah, hopefully somebody will buy me. Yeah, hopefully somebody will buy me some acai too. But I doubt it.
All right. So good luck to everybody competing tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. And that's it for episode 13. Thanks a lot.